Gold medal mindset. Your work has to match your want with Mr. Kendall Ficklin.
And my whole premise of that is you got time. You are either spending time, wasting time, or investing time. But you got the time to get done what you need to do.
This is the Gold Medal Mindset, where we bring you all things winning in business, sport, and life. I'm Dr. Jason Richardson, pro BMX world champion and Pan Am Games gold medalist. Get ready to mine for gold as we challenge your perception to change your results. Hello. On track with the Gold Medal Mindset. I am super excited to have this guest here. I think it was forwarded to me, one of his videos, and he was talking about time. And as I don't even think I finished the video before I sent an email out to this gentleman, Mr. Kendall Ficklin, to be on the show, because the way he was coming at me and just bringing, I'm not going to say the knowledge, but the love for the other person's success or possibility of success, I had to have him on the show. Kendall Ficklin, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
Man, I'm doing great, Jason. I want to thank you for the opportunity. I'm always humbled, always honored to be able to share with really anybody. But I really appreciate you asking me to come on. I'm super excited. Let's go. Let's get it.
We're getting it already. So real quick, tell my audience what it is you do and why you do it.
So a lot of people, I think a lot of times we get caught up in titles so much. I'm at the point now where I'm like, before I say who I am and what I do, I'm the type of person that says, what do you say I am and what do you say I do? So basically, what is your proof? So for those of us that say we're coaches, we're doctors, we're authors, we're speakers, what are your clients saying? What is your audience saying? So I have a group of people that I quote unquote coach, and they call me coach. So they say I'm a coach. I have books that I've authored that says I'm an author. So I have the proof. So basically, I'm a coach, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, but in truth in that, I'm really a servant. And that's the passion that you hear in the videos. That's the drive. That's the thing that really keeps me going. I have this will to serve people, and I use speaking, authoring, and coaching as a platform in that area of personal development.
Nice.
That makes sense?
Yeah, because really what you're saying is the book is a tool, the coaching is a tool, the speaking is a tool. I'm using those tools to deliver this. I'm using those tools to deliver you to you, your best you to you.
Exactly. And so here's the crazy thing. So for years, probably, I've been doing this I've been an entrepreneur full time for over 20 years. And for about 15 of those years, I was cutting hair. I used to cut hair.
Okay.
But I thought that I loved cutting hair. I thought that with those clippers, I thought that was the bee's knees. I thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. And then one day, just out of nowhere, I realized it wasn't the actual cutting of the hair. It was the platform that it gave me to interact, to coach, to be the therapist, to guide, to help, to work with people that were sitting in my chair. And so I realized that it's not the clippers, it's the platform. And then when I realized that, I said, okay, so it's time for me to change the platform. It's time for me to expand the platform. And I think that there are a lot of people, even in your listening audience and the people that I come in contact with, that always say, well, I don't know what it is that I love to do. I don't know what I'm passionate about. When in truth, there is purpose found in your passion. So I tell people your passion is what's going to drive you, but your purpose will guide you.
It's interesting. I use the story of a bee. And I ask people, I say, what's the bee's job? And if they know a little bit about bees, it's like, to go out and get the whatever it is, the pollen, and bring it back to the hive. I'm like, yeah,
right. That's
the bee's job, A to B.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do this and come back. And then I say, well, what's the bee's purpose? And then they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what does the bee do for the world, for us? What does the bee's purpose? And then, it's to really spread the pollen. And without that, we wouldn't have the flowers and the trees and all the, it's part of this ecosystem, but it's only by going out and doing that job, right? So you did that job of cutting hair and thank God you loved it. But by doing that job, going out there, cutting hair and talking to people, you found your purpose. And
exactly.
And I think a lot of us can do that. And even if it's something you hate, right? I don't like this job.
Right.
This is terrible.
Right.
Right. So you may not find your exact purpose, but you know that's not, and you can then move toward it. So real quick, because I did bring up the time thing, but you were sitting at a desk and you were talking about time, and I just loved the way you kicked it to people. Can you please do that again for my listening audience?
Yeah. So what happens is so I've got about I created a company called Grindation, and Grindation means it's the grind, and the ation on the end is foundation. So it's the foundation of your grind. And right now I have literally about 96, 97 clients all over the country that I coach and that I work with and that I help business development and so forth. But as I'm speaking with people on a daily basis, most people will always say, I just don't have the time. There's not enough hours in a day. We've all heard this before. And so I literally just sat down and even though, in the space that we're in, we know that there is time. So I just did the math. And when you sit down and you literally do the math, the numbers don't lie. So here's the math. There's 7 days in a week. There's 168 hours in that week. So you got a total of 168 hours in a 7-day week. 56 of those hours I give to you to sleep. That's if you sleep 8 hours a day. The average person does not sleep 8 hours a day, but I'm going to give you 56 of that. 50 of those hours I'm going to give for work. That's 40 hours at work, 10 hours to and from. So that's 50 hours for work. 20 hours I give you from family time. And then another 20 hours I give you what I call it is trick off time, where you just throwing time away. It's miscellaneous time. You watching the game. You just tricking life off. You ain't doing nothing. So that leaves you with a total of 22 hours a week or 3.14 hours per day of free time. Now, let's just take back some of the sleepy time because you ain't sleeping 8 hours a day. I'm going to take back some of that family time. You ain't doing that. And I'm going to take back some of that trick off time because you don't need that much time to trick off. And so once we take some of that time back, now we're talking about you got 40 hours in a week. That's 8 hours a day to work on that dream, to work on that vision, to get done what you said you need to get done. And my whole premise of that is you got time. You are either spending time, wasting time, or investing time. But you got the time to get done what you need to do. And most people don't take the time and look at the time. They don't take the time to see where am I tricking off time. So what I came up with in my book, there's a chapter called Your Daily Grind. And in there, I started, I put a worksheet and it starts at 5 a.m. And then we go to 9 p.m. And in 30-minute increments, 30-minute intervals, you've got to write down what you're doing every 30 minutes. So I had one of my clients do it, try it out. And she went for 3 days. You're supposed to do this Monday through Friday. She did the first 3 days, every half hour, writing down what she did, every half hour, writing down what she did. On the third day, she called me and she said, oh, my God, I can't do anymore. I said, what's wrong? She said, I just can't do it anymore. She said, I'm seeing right now that I'm spending 3 or 4 hours on social media. Here's the problem. She doesn't make money on social media. So she's spending half of her 8-hour day on social media. And then when you can look at that and when you see that, it's at that point where you need to make an adjustment. And the people that are successful or the people that end up getting the things done that they need to get done, those are the people that look at their time, that maximize the time, and instead of wasting it, they invest in it.
Oh,
Your
I love
daily
it.
grind.
I love it. So a little experiment with me too, because I work with time as well, and I did not break it down as eloquently or as brutal as you just did.
Brutal.
However, I noticed even with myself, and I think this is what happens with a lot of people, and I'll use vacation, right? Because I went on vacation. I went to the Bahamas with my family, an extended family, and I was out there, and it was nice. Went to Atlantis. Did the sun and the beach, and then probably we were there for 5 days, and it's nothing against Atlantis, but we were there for 5 days. I'm not thinking to myself, I'm cool on this right now. Like,
right. Yeah, I had enough.
Yeah. And I live in San Diego, so I know what a beach looks like. I appreciate the warm blue water, and it was pretty, but I was thinking, this is it. Like, people work their whole year, and they do the 2 weeks here, and that's it. And they're, and then I started asking myself, are they happier? Because I know because even when I'm working and I'm grinding or doing whatever I'm doing, especially when I'm really working my purpose, I'm happy. Like, I don't even care that I'm like whether I'm working or whether I'm not watching TV or whatever it is, like it doesn't matter that I'm not doing anything. But I think people have been fed this lie, or maybe they believe this lie, or whatever it is, that they're going to work hard and then go max and relax. And I'll be candid, even, amongst our folk, it's kind of a thing. Oh, I want to kick it. A lot of young kids, oh, I want to just kick it. It's like, okay, well, that kicking it, that might be contributing to your unhappiness. And it's definitely contributing to your lack of income. And it's definitely contributing to your stagnant mobility. And it's so interesting because even for me, if I do like, a couple days where I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs and I'm between projects, I'm grumpy.
Oh, you're going crazy.
I'm grumpy, and I want, and it's like, well, and then even my wife, I hear my wife tell, well, we can retire, and I'm like, well, I don't know that I want to retire. Retire from what? Life?
Like, what does that mean?
So
but see, you know what that is? You know what that is? That is what I call the average mindset. And there's nothing wrong with being average if that's what you want to do. It's not for everybody. What we do, the entrepreneurial mindset, the lifestyle. I told my group last week that 9-to-5 mentality, that is a criminal mindset. It's like a criminal mindset because it is stealing time from your life. And so that 9-to-5 mindset, it basically says, you ain't in a rush for nothing. Ain't nothing urgent. Nothing is urgent. I could just lay back. I could chill. That's a 9-to-5 mindset because they ain't in a rush for nothing. You're getting a check. You're going to work from this hour to that hour. There aren't any urgent pending projects unless you're working on $1 billion deal. That's that mindset. But as an entrepreneur, we don't have time to waste time. Like, it's not about retirement because as we get older, we get greater.
Yeah.
And the greater we get, the more impact we can make. The more impact we make, the better off it is, the better our legacy is. And we have to always keep something in front of us because I told my wife the other day, like, we look at these numbers, but the truth of the matter is on any given day, things can change. It's not like a steady check comes in.
No.
So you have to stay on top of your game. And here's a mindset. So I sit at the table, as I know you do. We sit at the table with people that are quote unquote successful in their craft, right? Which equates to them being winners, which equates to them winning at what they do, which equates to them being either millionaires, high six figures or above, Yep. And they think and do things differently with their time and their energy than people who are not masters of their craft or are not quote unquote successful or are not winners. So the person that makes $50,000 a year working a 9-to-5, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. The person that does that has a different entertainment lifestyle than the person that makes 6 figures a year or $1 million a year, because there is just a different mentality. It doesn't come with that 9-to-5 mentality. It comes with a from can't see morning to can't see night mentality.
My father, he's an entrepreneur. And he's pushing 75. So I was back in Charleston. We're going around his old spots, and we're knocking on people's doors. He's known for 50 plus years. They went to grade school together, and they're like, Lou, I thought you were retired. And he's like, I am. But you just said you had 5 projects going on. He says, yeah. and they couldn't equate that to because we walked in that house and they were in that lazy boy chair. I mean, they were like, and they were cool. They put in their time at their jobs, and they, now they're retired and they're living and it's not to say like their life choice is bad, but it was just from a mindset standpoint, just so people understand the difference, right? Not right or wrong. It's really what you choose. It's really what you choose. But just so that they understand, the mindset was crazy because here my father is 74 and he's talking to his best friend, one of his best friends of life. Right? Two different career tracks, whatever. Both did the kid thing, both did the marriage thing, both did the, the house, the car, all that stuff. And one guy's retired life is sitting there and watching TV, maybe eating chips, and they're looking at him like, I don't understand what you mean by I'm retired and I have 5 projects going on. And really, it's just about freedom, right? It's about my dad he's operating on his time. He's doing those projects because he wants to, right? He got involved with that business because he wanted to versus I'm selling time, right? My dad is making time. They're selling time. And that's the difference.
Exactly. Exactly. I tell people that it's the difference of having options or not having options. So having the option to stay in the bed later if you choose to, but not necessarily taking advantage. And it's really about the options. And you said it best. There's nothing wrong with it if that's what a person wants to do. But for me, if you come to me we're in this phase right now where everybody wants to be that buzzword, I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm just like, if you're an entrepreneur, then my theme for 2017 is what's your proof? Be who you say you are. Like, if you say you're an entrepreneur, prove it. I should be able to look at your social media profile and it should show you being an entrepreneur, not just, pictures of you on the beach. That ain't an entrepreneur. Like that entrepreneur, that's not the lifestyle. Now you can be on the beach, but if you're on the beach, you're working. My wife takes pictures of me by the time I'm in the bed, when I get in the bed. And I never go to sleep. I always fall asleep.
Yeah.
With my laptop right next to me, and she'll come in and say, babe, just let it go. Let it go. I say, I can't. I got to get it done. There's always something to do. You always keep something in front of you. But if you say that you are, or you want to be an entrepreneur, prove it. That means your work has to match your want. Whatever. And most people want what it looks like, but they don't want what it feels like. So you want the success, you want to win, you want to be a champion, you want to be the LeBron James, you want to have that, you want to go to the finals, you want to be down 3-1, and you want to come back and win, and you want to go meet the president, you want the trophy, but you're not willing to go through the offseason like he does. You're not willing to go through the grind, the heartache like he does. I told people before I wanted to speak, I wanted to travel the country, I wanted to write books, I wanted to be an author, but I had to be willing to go through what it feels like in order to get to what that looked like. So as I travel with my coach, I would book flights. I wouldn't even book hotel rooms. I would just sleep in the Starbucks in the airports to save money, to make sure that I could get to the city so I could be in attendance, so I could soak up whatever I needed to soak up because I wanted what it feels like. And when people get to the point that you go through what it feels like, then you get a glimpse of what it looks like. And if you're willing to go through the pain and go through the trials and go through the adversity and go through the broke and the brokenness, when you get to what it looks like, you'll know how to sustain it and stay there and grow from there to your next level.
Right. I love that you said broke and brokenness. But I remember when I started this speaking thing, I got flown out by somebody to go do this thing for this team, and I'm thinking, all right, I've made it. This is easy. I went from professional bike racer to speaker, just like that. And It's like, oh, no, he didn't. So I got the flight. But then after that, I'll just put it this way. I didn't have much in my bank account. Mm-hmm. And not anyone knows this story. I didn't have much in my bank account. I did have money put away, but I'm being disciplined because that's for my life, my bills, and my kids. And so I wasn't touching that. So I was on Cheerios. I was on Cheerios. I mean, buying the one coffee down the street at this cool little coffee shop was like my treat for the week.
Yeah.
But after, and I'm in like a nice hotel and one of the richest parts of Honolulu, and I'm speaking in front of this team, and and here I am, gold medal athlete and all this stuff, and I'm just like, whoa. So this is how it is, you know what I mean? But I was okay with that a bit. And I just say a bit just because I paid my dues before in school. I paid my dues before in athletics. So it's like, okay, this is it. But you're right, that journeyman mentality, that journeyman experience of putting it in, eating those Cheerios, which actually I love, but eating those Cheerios is like, man, like, cause I'm a breakfast person. I eat breakfast. I want my grits. I want my eggs. I want my everything. But it was a rough
7 days a week.
No. I keep it clean. But I enjoy my breakfast. That's my ritual.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just eating those Cheerios in that hotel room, and then to keep going with that story, right? So here it is, my first big flying speaking gig, right? Dude ripped me off.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yep, dude ripped me off. And came home a week later, really with. Other than I went to Hawaii for a week, and people are like, oh man, I can't believe you went to Hawaii. You were living it. But no, that was probably one of the worst trips I ever had. Right? I'm in paradise. Right? I'm in paradise. Wow. Just but that broken experience, and all I could think about, and hopefully this gets through to the listeners, yours and mine, but all I could think about is like, okay, I'm gonna eat these Cheerios, I'm gonna do my thing, I'm gonna be professional, I'm gonna light that crowd up anyway, and I did. Right. But all I could think about is, all right, I'm gonna remember these Cheerios next year, and the year after, and the year after that, because it's only a matter of time before it's headline. It's only a matter of time before, I have to say no to you because I'm speaking somewhere else. Not that it's like retribution or revenge, but it's just
I don't have the time.
It's just part of that story, and it's just the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's levels. I tell everybody, there's levels to everything, and you have to max out at the level that you're at. So before you get to level 6, you have to go through level 1 through 5, because what you learn at level 1 through 5 will sustain you at 6. So like, here's the adage: what got you here is not enough to get you there. So what got you to level 3 is not enough to get you to level 6. So you got to max out at 3. You have to max out at 4. You got to max out at 5. And whatever those levels look like for you, if it's Cheerios, then it's Cheerios. You got to max it out. You got to max it out. But at every level is where I always tell this story. If you close your eyes and picture yourself climbing a mountain, and you're going up this mountain, and it's very steep, and it's bumpy, and you're halfway up, and it's killing you. Like you're in pain. Your knees are bleeding. You cut up. And I'm talking about you are going through some serious trials climbing up this mountain. You're halfway up and you want to quit, but you don't quit. And you keep on going, and the blood is dripping from your knees, and your arms are shaking, and you're in pain, and you're cramping up, and you keep going, but you keep going, and finally you get to the top. And you're at the top of the mountain, and you look over at where you came from, and you raise your hands in victory. And you ask yourself, did you become the person that you became at the top of the mountain? Or did it happen while you were in the climb/grind? Because you got strong in that climb. You got power as you were going through that process. It was in the not giving up. It was in going through the pain. It was in going through the challenges that you got knowledge, you got information, you got stronger. So when you got to the top, now you can look back and say, wow, now I know what I have to do to climb this next mountain, because there's always another mountain. Yeah. And so I tell everybody, start climbing your mountain.
No, I love it. And what just hit me, because I've climbed, when I go ride, I literally climb a hill on my mountain bike, but it just hit me that people in many cases don't know how to cheer for themselves. Not, I'll say push themselves too, but cheer for themselves, because I ride a bike. I rode one for a living, so I'm in decent shape as far as bike riding goes.
Right.
But it's fine. I climb the same hill, and Kendall, it's hard every time, even though I get in better shape. What's that about, right? Because and what the reason why it's hard every time? One, because it's the hill. The hill is hard, and so I've learned to tell people, no, it might not get easier, right? Even as you get better. Even as you get better, it might not get easier, because guess what? If I stop pedaling, even though I'm in better shape, I will tip over. Exactly. I will tip over and fall. But what gets me up that hill is, one, I'm cheering for myself. I'm literally saying, let's go. You can do this. Come on. Like that's my inner dialogue to get up that hill. And then I race down, and I it's interesting, because even in my book, I talk about moments are what we aim for. We aim for the championship ring. We aim for that paycheck. We aim for that graduation. But do people really talk about the ring? Do they really talk about the check? Or do they talk about what it took to get there? Because that's the conversation, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's a program within my group I implemented. It's just basically small wins. And so every day, you should be developing, you should be creating, you should be accomplishing small wins every day. And so we're on a movement now called the 1% more. Just do 1% more small wins. Yep. What happens is if every day you create, you develop, you accomplish a small win, you get the small win, that's you cheering for yourself. Wow, small win. And we posted in the group. Small win, small win. You do that every day is 1%. What that does is you start to build momentum. And as you build momentum, you start to develop consistency, because it's in the consistency in everything that you do that helps you to get to that next level or that point. So you build momentum, you develop consistency. When you get to consistency over a period of time, then you start to get confident, because the more that you do something, the more you like. So you know how people say you have an aha moment?
Mm-hmm.
I believe in ooh moments. So when you start building momentum, you get in consistency. As soon as you get confident, the first thing you say is, ooh, I think I could do this. Ooh, I think I got this. So now you got confidence. And then you start to really believe. And then once you believe, that's when the results start to come. And it's not even about that one particular goal that you may have. It's really about developing the discipline to be consistent, to make sure you ride the momentum so that you can get the discipline and get the results that you want. And so that's why I push everybody to focus on the activity,
mm-hmm.
not the result, because you can control the activity. You can control how many times you reach out to somebody. You can control how many push-ups you're going to do. You can control if you go to the gym or you don't go to the gym. You can control those things. What you can't control is how many people are going to buy your book. You can't control how many people are going to sign up for your program. You can't control who says yes and who says no. So I'm always saying control what you can control and don't have any unforced turnovers.
Oh yeah. And that's the issue. You know, the one piece of advice that I don't like, and people seem to give it when people are going through a hard time or when something happens, they say it'll be all right. And I can't stand that piece of advice because it's like, it may not be. That's actually like
it may not be okay.
Yeah, it may not. They might have gotten in a car wreck, right? Broke their arm, broke their leg, and no insurance, and they're getting sued. And you're going to say it'll be all right. And then tomorrow comes, and there's a terrorist attack, and now they lost their job. No, that ain't all right. But what I like to say is, you can be all right, right?
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah,
you're okay. Right? Despite what happened to you. Despite what happened to you, you're okay. You may not feel that way right now. We can work on that. But there's also a reason you don't feel okay. And it's because you're not getting what you want. So that's your brain telling you that you are worth more. That's your brain telling you that you do expect more. That's your brain telling you that there is more for you. That's why it doesn't feel good to lose. That's why it doesn't feel good to get hurt. It's because your brain's saying, no, that's not the real plan. But we send ourselves these conflicting messages, and we tell these stories about, why we stay in a job we hate because it's air quote safe, or why not going to the gym is a good idea because you stayed an extra hour at work and you need that sleep, whatever it is. As a psychologist, in school, we spend a lot of time with sleep hygiene and the proper amount of sleep. And that's the one part that I go against with my clients. I said, and I remember even saying this to my brother-in-law. I was like, yeah, you might want to go to bed later and wake up earlier. And he said, don't you mean go to bed? Don't you mean go to bed earlier to wake up early? I said, no. I said, you might want to, because he is a coach himself, and he's actually a brilliant coaches students on SAT prep and English and essay writing. I said, no, you might want to go to bed later and wake up earlier. And it took it a while for him to sink in. I was like, hey, man, you married in the Richardson family. Like, you ever notice how no matter what time it is, we're always up in the morning and we're going to have our breakfast? Like, that's how we roll, man. Get with the program.
No, you go to bed later and you wake up early.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what we do.
And there's this concept that I teach called the third shift. It's like, okay, you went to work. I get it. You have bills. Maybe you didn't go to school. Maybe you just weren't as creative when you were 20 and you didn't come up with some idea. I get it. You got a job. Maybe you work at the airport. Maybe you work for maybe you're accountant. I don't know what it is you do. You have a job. I get it. Pay your bills. Be responsible. That's first shift. Second shift, family, come home, kids, rides to school, games, cooking dinner, cleaning up, all that other stuff. And then there's the third shift. And that's that time when the kids are asleep, Maybe the wife is watching Netflix, or maybe the husband's watching Netflix because I've been working with a woman,
Right.
working with a woman. And that's that time where it's like, all right, here it is, 8 o'clock, 9 p.m. I could watch TV. I could cruise Pinterest. I could read a book. Hopefully it's something for your own professional development or personal development, or I could actually start investigating that idea I had about real estate investment. I can start investigating that idea about creating an app. I can start, I can reach out to a few friends on Facebook who are in tech, who are in real estate, and start a conversation about those things I want to work on, or create the relationship, or get the collabo going. That's the third shift. Or, get on that keyboard and start writing that book, creating that training plan.
Yeah.
That's the third shift. But if we can look at it at the third shift, then I think your mindset shifts. So if you can change your own rules that you have, then your mindset can shift. It's like, oh, it's the third shift, right? It's just another part of the day, right? Oh,
Exactly.
I don't have to sleep all the time. I don't have to just sit and watch TV.
Exactly.
You can enjoy.
It's maximizing every moment. Yeah. Taking advantage of, and just really like us getting rid of the trick off time. That third shift, I love it. That's grind time. That's where all your dreams can become a reality. And literally that's what I mean when I say, there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 if that's what you do. But really it's about what you do before 9 a.m. and after 5 p.m. that's going to determine if that dream, that vision, that goal, that business, that entrepreneurial endeavor is going to come to light. It's what happens before work and after work in that second and third shift that you call it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So essentially, if your if your job is getting in the way of your work, then you may have a problem.
Right. And I don't think they caught it. You might need to say it again. If your job, no, I don't think they caught it. They didn't catch it.
Yeah,
they did not catch it because most people think your job is your work.
Right.
And there's a difference between work. A job is a job.
Yeah.
But work. Okay. So
if your job gets in the way of your work, then you may have a problem.
Got a problem.
Yeah.
I love it.
When I get home, right? I used to, I don't live on the East Coast anymore. When I used to live on the East Coast, one of my chores was raking the leaves. That was my job.
Right.
Right. But my work, at least as a kid, was playing. My work as a kid was riding my bike. Right. So I had a problem.
You got a problem. So this job getting in the way of my work.
Exactly.
I love it.
I had a problem, right? It was an emotional problem. It was a psychological problem. It was a problem. But it was up to me to figure that problem out.
Exactly.
Right? What can I do? Right? How can I solve this problem? And it might just be rake the leaves quicker, or pay somebody else, pay one of your friends to do it, or whatever, or it might just be, do it at a different time, do it before you go to school. I could have done that, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I break it down in the school sense because I don't want it to be about, because people like to bring in all their problems and these bills and the boss and all that stuff. It's like, no, because we're all that kid. We're all that kid that learned how to walk. We're all that kid. Everybody's from somewhere, right? Those Olympians. LeBron's just a kid from Ohio. Richard Branson's just some guy from England. Russell Simmons, some kid from New York. Everybody's just some kid from somewhere. So I was the kid. I had to rake some leaves, and that was my job, and it got in the way of my work. Well, what am I going to do about my problem? Right? Because it wasn't my parents' problem.
Right. It's your problem.
It was exactly.
You got the problem.
Exactly.
You got the problem. What you going to do about this problem, Jason?
Right? That's it. So, all right. I love it. I love grindation. I love the work matching the want. So Kendall, what's winning to you then? How do you know that you've won? Or when
winning to me, I don't look at a lot of people say. A lot of people think of it as winning as being this one time thing. I'm winning. It's a place you get to. I don't look at it like that. I look at winning and my small wins, my everyday activity for me is winning, right? Because I know that if I perform my everyday activities, if I do the things that I'm supposed to do, I know that I'm going to get the result. So winning for me it's about the process. Mm-hmm. Winning for me is the practice. And if I practice hard and I go through the process, I've literally won. Like I'm successful because it's the activity. The results are going to take care of themselves. That's winning for me. And I think with most people, it's like you go to the gym, right? You say, I want to go to the gym. I'm trying to lose weight or I'm trying to build up muscle. For the person that's trying to lose weight, you'll go to the gym and you might have a goal. I want to lose 50 pounds. You go to the gym after a week, you're on the scale every day. You're not winning. But if you just go and just work and focus on the work and not the win, the WIN, focus on the work and not the win, the WHEN. The win and the win will come. And so what people do is they go and they constantly look at the scale every day. And they may not see the weight coming off, but the weight is coming off. You just can't see it. There's a foundation being developed. There's something going on the inside of you that hasn't yet manifested on the outside. So it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. It's the same thing with business. Just perform the activities and put in the work. Every time you complete an activity task and you get a small win, you're winning. And so what's happening is you're developing that foundation / grindation, and you're building a foundation so that when you do get to the point that you're starting to see the results, you can sustain them and you don't fall off your diet. You don't leave out the gym. You'll stay on that grind. That's winning for me. Everyday activity, completing my everyday activity towards and being great. I put a post out today that said, it was from a talk that I did, and it's grind to be great. Don't grind for money, grind for great.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
I like it.
And when you do that, people will pay you to be great. You ain't got to worry about the money. But when you grind for great, you're putting in the daily activity that it takes for you to be better than your best. And when you're doing that, that's all you can do. That's winning. If you put up this, I want to win the championship. And that's the goal. I mean, there's so much. I had a conversation with Jerome Bettis one time, one of my mentors. And he said the year that they won the Super Bowl, he was about to retire. He was ready to go. He was done. He was mentally and physically done. He said the owner came to him and said, JB, just give us one more year. We got a young quarterback coming in, one more year. So he said, fine, I'll give you one more year. And he said that year was magical. He said all the cards had to line up. Health, people, guys had to stay healthy. Every little game, every little thing had to line up. He said the road to the championship, everything and everybody has to be so much in line. There's luck that takes place. There's practice. There's this, there's that. And in order for it to be something that happens all the time, all those cards have to line up. Now, you might not win the championship every year, but you can always be in the run. You can always be in the hunt. And that's the goal. Winning is about always being in the championship hunt, in the championship mindset, in the winning mindset. And if you that means that you should be every day, small win, every day activity, every day I'm working, every day I have something in front of me that I'm touching and I'm reaching for every day.
I'm listening to your words, your language, and how you use it, and the way you speak, and this is something I harp on quite a bit, and those who know me and work with me can attest to it, is language. And you're speaking in a way, there's no I'm gonna. It's like you are in I am stage.
Yeah, no doubt.
When am I winning? When am I winning? Now. Why?
Oh, yeah, right.
Why? Because I'm in the process of it right now. Don't you see it? I'm winning right now. I'm talking to you. I'm reaching people. I'm winning. You're in process now, which goes back to why the time and mastering your time. I'm not going to say taking control of it, but mastering your time is so important, and harnessing it, or just at least recognizing it as a resource.
Because it's not something that I want to reach for. It's something that I do.
Yeah. Yes. And so, and I know you hear it because you work with a lot of people, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to, that one kills me. I'm trying to, it's like, I'm trying to have this. I'm trying to have, like, what do you mean? What do you mean trying to have?
That word does not, somebody told me that just this morning, literally. Well, I've been trying to, and I've been wanting, and I'm going, when? When are you going to do it? When? When is it going to get done? When? Because really those are just excuses. And you can't make excuses and progress at the same time. They don't work. It doesn't work that way. You either do or you don't.
Yeah.
And trying means you lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop telling yourself this lie. And the biggest problem that most of us have is because we are not around people that are where we want to be or are doing what we want to do. We've been used to being around quote unquote average people. And when I say average, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that in order for you to be successful, in order for you to be winning, and I said that the right way, to be winning, you need to be around winners. Like I used to think that I was grinding. I thought I was doing it until I got around some grinders. I always say a crooked stick doesn't know it's crooked until it sees a straight stick. I'm going to say it again. A crooked stick doesn't know it's crooked until it sees a straight stick. So on my left ring finger is broke from playing ball years ago. And it's crooked. But it doesn't know it's crooked until it sees the ring finger on my right finger that's straight. I didn't know that I was doing something wrong until I saw somebody that was doing it right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And too often we hang around groups of people and everybody doing it wrong.
The other thing is, I think people make it about, going back to the win, they make it about the money, right? Oh, yeah. The come up. And I've been fortunate to be around people with, who other people would say have come up, who are doing exceedingly well from a monetary standpoint. And right. You know what? It is not about the money for them. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice and they appreciate it. Oh, yeah. But it's not necessarily why they do what they do. Those people who are really killing it, really crushing it, do it for bigger and better purposes. Whether it's to take care of their family, whether it's to just help other people, whether it's because they want to leave a legacy, whether it's because they got an idea and they think it'll work.
The money is a byproduct.
It's right. That's right. It's just
a result.
And it's just another tool to be used to do other things.
And then that's the other thing. When you chase money, by the time you get it, you use it for the wrong reasons. I've owned 10 legal businesses in my life, right? And so the first business that I had, I had a commercial cleaning franchise, and I think it was 1991. In 3 months, I was doing like 15, 20 grand a year. I mean, a month. Mm-hmm. And I got a contract. I had all the Starbucks in New York and New Jersey, 71 stores. Because we could do great work. I had 7 sports authorities because we could do great work. I could go in, I could get the contract. I could communicate with my staff, with my workers. I could get the work done, but I had no clue what to do with the money. And so even though I was making 15, 20 grand a month, I was broke, having a problem making payroll, paying for truck notes, paying for equipment and everything because I didn't know what to do because I was chasing the contract. And what happens is we chase money so much that we end up catching things that shouldn't be caught. And then sometimes having to let go of some things that need to be dropped. And what I mean by that is some things that come along with the money you don't need. And the things that need to come along with the money, like what do you do with the money? How do you stop hustling for your business and turn your business into a hustle? And hustle for your business and don't turn your business into a hustle. Right. Meaning when that money comes in, you have to reinvest it. So like I tell my clients with Grindation is coaching, connections, and an online community. So that's where I provide coaching. We do a power network, we do connections, and we have an online community. So I just told one of my clients the other day, Grindation is a separate business. I do not collect a salary from that business that I created. Everything that comes into that, I'm putting right back into the business. There are expenses. I have an office. I have travel expenses. I have expenses with my coach. I have all these expenses that come along with the business. I do not want a salary for that. I want every dime to go back into the company so I can build the company and bring the value that the people that do business with me really deserve and really need to get because I'm playing the long game, not the short game. When you chase money, you're playing the short game.
It's ownership. And there's pride in ownership. I mean, it's an old saying, and it seems a bit cliche, but there is pride in ownership. Mm-hmm. And that leads to legacy. That leads to wealth. And I mean, not only just WEALTH, but it also leads to WELLTH, right? Wealth.
Wow. Right? I like
right?
that. I like that.
Meaning I have something. I have something. And not only do I have it, but it can be passed down. It can be given to you. It has so much value that when I leave, it'll still be here. Mm-hmm. You know?
I love it.
And that ain't just cash. I mean, I mean, it could be, but chances are it's not. Chances are
Yeah.
it's some kind of institution, philosophy, and something that you've created that creates value for others. Oh man, I love these conversations. I love it, giving me life. So let's end on. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'll ask you how people can get a hold of you, where they can get a hold of you. But before that, what's one thing you wish every human knew?
That you can, and this is not like a cliche. It's really for real, and I'm experiencing it. Literally, that you can be, do, and have anything that you want. Like I really believe, and I know I believe this so much, that whatever your mind can conceive, like it's a thought. Everything starts with the mind. I did a talk one time, and I talked about the guy that was sitting outside one time, and it was storming, and he saw the electricity coming through the sky, and he was like, wow, I wonder if I could take that electricity from up there and bring it down here. We can use it. And then I talk about the two brothers that saw birds flying in the air and was like, I wonder if we can fly. And I talk about my man with the phone bell, where he said, I want to talk to somebody that's not here in front of me. It all started as something that took place in their mind. But look now, we got phones, we got video chat, we got airplanes. I'm talking about just from something in your mind. So you got to know and believe that if you can see it, if you can vision it in your mind, it can become a reality. The question is, are you willing to let your work match that want, match that vision? And if you're willing to work for it, to sacrifice for it, to grind for it, to build for it, to go through trial for it, then you can get it. It might take time, but the longer you work, the harder you work, the better opportunity you put yourself in to see it come to existence. So that's the one thing, like you can do it, you can be it, and you can have it, but your work has to match your want.
Nice. And really, even just going out there, putting yourself out there to do it, regardless of the result, will still put you in a place that you'd never thought you'd be, which is better than.
The resources come. When you go out there to do, people come to help you do. Resources come. When you go out there and you actively get engaged, other resources come. That's the first thing. Other information comes to you. When you start to get active and you start doing what it is that you see in your mind, other visions come to your mind on how to make it happen. I don't know what you call it. You can call it whatever you want. I don't know the name that people put on it. But literally, when I have a vision in my head of something, I get out there and I start grinding. And as I'm grinding, I'm looking at the actual blueprint, the roadmap to get me where I want to be, just from me being in the midst of the activity.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, with that said, if anybody wants to work with you, book you, or just be in the same space, how can they find you?
So this is, I always wanted to do this. I love doing this now. So just Google me. I love to tell people to Google me. Just Google me. I'm going to give you the spelling of my first name and last name. My name is Kendall Ficklin, Kendall. Last name is Ficklin, F as in Frank, Icklin as in Nancy. And rather than me give you all the website and social media, if you just go to Google and put that in, I'm going to be all over there, right up there. My website will be there. You'll see information about grindation, coaching, and everything. Just Google me, or feel free to call me on my office line at 678-465-8301. That's 678-465-8301. And I answer my phone. People call me all the time because I have my phone number on my Instagram. And they call me all the time and say, oh my God, I can't believe you answered the phone. You called me. Like I put my number out there. It's okay. So feel free to call me. I love it.
All right. And I did Google you, and you were like, bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was like your website, then YouTube, or website, LinkedIn. So you're doing. Hey, you know what? It's an honor to talk to you. And I definitely I have family in Atlanta. And I know our paths are gonna cross. So I look forward. I look forward to our face to face.
I'll be in San Diego. I'll be in San Diego February 12th. I'll definitely reach out to you.
All right, then we're gonna kick it. Feb 12th. I'm writing it down. And,
I got you.
And who knows? Maybe a DrJRich Kendall Ficklin collabo in the future. We'll see. I don't know if that's a lot. That's a lot of energy for people to handle, though.
It might be a lot for us to handle.
I know. It's like, man, they just keep coming at me.
Jason, I thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me on. I love it. I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you later on. Definitely going to keep in touch, and much success, much breakthrough, and you just keep grinding. Just keep grinding.
Thanks for taking the time to mine for gold on the Gold Medal Mindset podcast. Let's keep the conversation going on Twitter at RealDrJRich or on the web at drjasonrichardson.com. That's drjasonrichardson.com. Take care and have a great day.